Shalom, my name is Yehoshua Yaakov, and this is being made from Jerusalem. It's a comment on the video I made 3-on-3 with Barack Obama. First, a lot of criticisms about my appreciation of his basketball skills, apparently. A lot of people think he should do better. I think he's pretty good. Anyway, he's not a member of the NBA, folks, okay? On a more serious note, a lot of views. First, thank you very much, all of you, for viewing the video. There's over 5,000, almost 6,000 views. I never got so many views. So first, thank you. And a lot of people said, look, could you explain a lot of things and make things a lot more simpler for us? Most particularly, the talk of the collapsed local reality, what do you mean? It's a term borrowed from physics, and the local reality is what we all live, inhabit, believe in, etc., etc. And it can be many things: a life system, a value system, etc., etc. In the Soviet Union on December 25th, 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed. Well, what was its local reality? Communism. And the next year in Yugoslavia, it collapsed, and what was its local reality? Communism. And in 1995, when Rabin was murdered, the local reality collapsed in Israel, and what was its local reality? Zionism. Okay, so I think you now know what I'm talking about. And so the criticism was made, look, explain things and keep it simple. And then, so it said if the local reality collapsed around the globe, which is what you say, and it is true, it has. It's not done yet. It's continuing. It collapsed not only in Israel, in America. It's a process. It's a work in process proposition in America, and it's begun with the capital markets and the economy, and it's going to bring fundamental change. Look, the socialists anticipated the clash between Wall Street and Main Street and the resulting ruins. In a word, ground zero. That said, what they didn't anticipate, and nobody else anticipated, which is the collapse of the local reality that ended the pre-modern modern era, which takes us into the post-modern era, or not to be so fancy, to religious people, it's the end of man and mankind's exile from God and his authentic self, and it means the redemption of man and mankind. Okay, so that's there's a common element there, whether you're a Muslim or a Christian or a Jew. We all know what that means. Okay, so and its particularities are less important. That said, okay, what are we looking at? We're looking at a paradigm shift, and there's a lot of atheism, agnosticism, anti-deists, Scientologists, scientistic articulations. Everybody's out there flaming for attention, telling us what's going on. But really, the truth be known, the world has kind of missed this. For 18 years, the process of the collapse of the local reality has been proceeding globally, and nobody's quite hopped onto it. So that's what is the reality. That's what's happened. It is today, it will be tomorrow, it will be a decade from now, a century from now, and a millennium from now. Only in a century and in a millennium we're going to see the enormity of the transformation of man and mankind. Okay, so the collapse of the local reality means what? In simple terms, we're moving from a behavioral man to a cognitive man, from a mammalian animal to a cognitive being. That's the purpose of that's why God created man and mankind. To be man, not to be a mammal, not to be an animal. And we're at the end of that epic and period. And look, in other terms, it's a modern Jurassic curve. That's the era where the paleontologists tell us the end of the age of the dinosaur, with the problems, atmospheric problems that occurred that brought about the end of the dinosaur. And I won't go into all of the details of explaining it, but right now the collapse of the local reality is a paradigm shift that brings about the end of behavioral man and the parallel ascent to inhabit the quantum reality, when the local reality collapses, you're in the quantum reality, and that's cognitive man. And when the East-West systems, both in the West, communism has collapsed. As I said just before, it began in the Soviet Union, and all the Putin's revisionisms don't mean anything. They'll last a year or two or 10, and he'll move on, and others will come, and okay, the revisionism, it's finished. Now, the question is what comes afterwards, and what comes after is the East-West convergence model, which is Humanomics. I'm its author. It's a trilogy. It's 2,500 pages. It'll be published on the internet with a few hundred graphics. Its central organizing principles: receive to give. Receiving what? Receiving the authentic you, to give the authentic you to you, your children, family, community, nation, and that's its central and its parallel paradigm is the integration of labor, the new economic paradigm. Now, this is this is the paradigm shift. This is what I'm talking about. And I would say to you, in all humility and modesty, that this has been out there. This story has been out on the internet for, I would say, about eight and a half months. I guess it takes 9 months to gestate a baby. But frankly, the traffic, the views should be on, respectfully, should be in the 300,000 to 3 million views because of the nature of the content. This is not some trifling here or some debating society. This is very fundamental, and it's very clear to me as the didactic scientists that made these observations, that followed these problems for decades, and understood more and more and more and more clearly, and saw ever more empirical and logical evidence of confirmation of these events and the underlying phenomena. I was very conservative, very cautious, because you put a video, you put this up on the internet, and say, this guy is smoking reefers, he's flaming for attention or whatever. I'm not going to listen to him. And the scientific view is antagonistic to it because it wants to promote its atheism, its agnosticism, or whatever. So I was very cautious and conservative. But the fact of the matter is, this is a paradigm shift of an order of magnitude of the importance of the noise that's commonly put up on the internet. So come on, folks, this is Signal, and what you're really being implicitly and explicitly, let me be very clear, you're being asked to promote the underlying knowledge. Those of you who look at this video, tell your friends and your family and inform them and say, I think this is very significant, and you will be proven right. It is very significant. You should see this. You should learn and understand what this is all about, because this is shaping already our lives, our children, our families, our community, our nation, and changing the world. And it's not going to, it's an irreversible process that is begun, and I find ludicrous that at the very time that there is the collapse of the local reality, which is brought on by the God of the cosmos, we have an ascent, a tremendous, intense amount of articulations in books and videos. The God hypothesis, God doesn't exist, there's no proof and there's no evidence. Frankly, my reaction is, where have you been? I mean, Christopher Hitchens, is razzle-dazzling everybody, but there can be nothing more profoundly ignorant than to look. It's one thing to be thought ignorant and to be silent. Another thing to open your mouth and remove all doubt. And where have you been, Christopher, for the last 18 years? I mean, the local reality collapse. Do you have any idea of the significance of what this means? And okay, so you better, there's a saying, come down from the roof, kids, children, before you hurt yourself. Having said that, a little more humility for some of these grandiose authors who are saying there's no evidence or proof of God. The explosion of life at the Cambrian period, we're going to see a comparable and a far greater explosion of cognitive life on the planet Earth as a result of the paradigm shift and the collapse of the local reality, the end of man's exile and the ascent of man. And lastly, I'll say man is in denial right now. We haven't accepted this reality. We haven't accepted this has happened. When we end the denial, all men and mankind will make this ascent and inhabit the quantum reality, which is based upon the new Humanomics and its central organizing principle, receive and to give. Thank you for listening. I'm its author. I'm the didactic science. My name is Yehoshua Yaakov. I live in Jerusalem. And thank you for listening. And let's get serious. Let's get people to understand what's going on. And God is a very big God. And I bless you in Kabel B'Shvilatet. That's Hebrew for receive and to give. Thank you.